Welcome to Skol Chat with Skol to episode 9. We are a chat group created by four guys who are a blended family, not only through the traditional familial means, but also for the love of the game, specifically for our favorite team, the Minnesota Vikings. We won't claim to be professionals, nor will we cover a lot of stats unless it's specific to the topics we'll be discussing. We are just four fans who get together to basically discuss all aspects of the team, from games, training, releases, signings, and overall organization itself. Our name is derived from two of us who currently reside in Minnesota and two who reside deep within Packer territory. This is not our livelihood, as we, like many of you, have busy lives, and what we hope to obtain are additions to our blended family by having you become a part of it. We have the room to add a couple of you at a time during our airings and would like you to join us in our chats. As with any family, there will be happy times and sad times to be discussed and experienced. Although the game may only last a season, the desire for the game and team is year-long. If you want to join us, please subscribe, hit the subscribe button, follow us on YouTube, and give us either a thumbs up or a thumbs down, depending on your experience, and leave us a comment. If you'd like to join us during the show, please contact us at the email link provided below.
All right, welcome everyone. So it's been a couple of weeks. Anything new pop up? Anything going on aside from the team?
No, just going with the flow.
Yeah, pretty much.
A little clearer air from that those Canada fires isn't coming down as heavily.
Yeah, no, I was up there, up in Canada way, and it wasn't very bad. There's a couple of days where it was hazy. Yeah, no, it was kind of weird. Seems like it's.
I think they had all the windmills facing our direction, blowing it all down to us.
Yeah,
I think that's what the situation is.
Well, had a few days of that Canadian smoke, and then of course it cooled down a little bit. Had a little rain, and yeah.
I'm ready for the cool down coming up next week, or this weekend, I should say.
Well, did you guys hear about what farmers automat, whatever you call that?
Yeah.
Benjamin Franklin?
Where they're saying that in our area, they're talking about snow at the end of September.
No, I didn't see that.
Well, that I haven't seen it personally, but that's what I heard from a few different people, saying that's what they're saying.
I asked the Magic 8 Ball, and they said we're not getting any snow, so we're good.
I think the Magic 8 Ball is probably more accurate than our weathermen at that.
I think just like the weather, it can only tell 2 days ahead, 2 days ahead of time.
They can't even do that.
I can tell you though, like up in Canada, like there were 17 of us in a cabin, it's all cobbled together, and I don't know. The last night, I don't know if I'm just getting to this age where if I sleep wrong, I'm sore for a couple of days after, and I don't know what it was, but something happened with my hip, where I just started feeling better on Monday. And we left, last day we slept there was Friday. So it was 3 or 4 days where my hip was hurting just from sleeping wrong.
It's called getting older and the mattress you sleep on.
Yeah. I guess I won't be playing tackle football ever again.
I don't need to play tackle football. I fall on that bug.
It looked like you got taken down by 10 guys, right?
Yeah, I feel that way too. I don't know, my arms, bicep hurts, and you remember back in the days, I don't know, maybe it's, anyways, when I was younger, brothers and sisters, take the middle finger knuckle and ram you in the side of the arm, and even kids on the school bus would do that, pop you there and, oh, geez, hurt. Well, that's the way my arms feel in the mornings, and sometimes it's throughout the day. It's, I don't know, maybe it's a nerve memory of, yeah. Anyways.
Unless you punch yourself in your sleep there, Dano.
I don't know. Well, sometimes I wonder if I'm gripping onto the blanket or to myself really tight, and yeah, I don't know.
So it must have that enveloped in you so the wife doesn't steal the blanket over the middle of the night, huh?
Well, that could be it, yeah.
Well, I think a couple times I've known in the past that I crawl in bed, because when I get the crawl in bed, I have to pull the sheet and the comforter more my way because it's all tucked underneath her, and she got her arm down on it and everything else. I pull on it. I crawl in the bed. I just start dozing off. Only been about a half a dozen times. Pretty soon I feel the cupboards moving on me, so I had to grab them and I hang on to them. Otherwise, I would, yeah.
I'm surprised you'd chance waking her by moving the blankets, though.
Sometimes I do. She'll say, "You got enough? You got enough?"
Oh, I get yelled at. Why are you waking me up? That's why half the time I sleep with no blankets. I just put on a pair of sweatpants and a sweatshirt.
I learned over the years I just use my little camouflage army whoopee. That's all I put.
So I think we've kind of been like talking a bit because we don't really want to talk about it. It's kind of like the elephant in the room, but the Vikings just traded Harrison Phillips.
Oh my God.
And so they just got two sixth-round draft picks, one for 2026 and one for 2027, according to what's been reported so far. This has only happened within the last hour. And they're paying half his salary, which is about $3.7 million. I mean, I'm sure it's different from depending on which article you look at, but so they're still paying for half his salary this year, but they're saving about $7 million next year. So, I mean, that's kind of disappointing, but it kind of just goes to show that they're confident in their younger players, the backups to Harrison Phillips. What do you think?
A heck of a player, a heck of a teammate.
I always like him. He seemed always talk from the hips, that's it. Anyways, but I also heard during training camp, he wasn't always in the first team reps. He'd be in for a few plays or whatever. Then he was rotated out, and there was sometimes he stood on the sideline. So I don't know. Maybe they were working on this all along. Who knows?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, he's a captain. He's a team captain, so they traded away a team captain. So there's got to be a reason. And again, I think they're comfortable with the backups, and maybe they're planning something else, another move coming up.
I think they pretty much have to consider other moves or bringing some other people in with our wide receiver group. It seems like we're at an awful lot of injuries happening.
Yeah, that's crazy for the actual season not even started yet.
Well, they said Addison and Ty Felton both got hurt today. We don't know the severity of it, but they said they were like holding their arms or their wrists when they were leaving the field. So we got to see what's going to happen with them. We already know that Addison is going to be out the first 2 games, suspension anyway.
Well, yeah, that's a whole deal, Everything seemed to be all right. Then Naylor got hurt, and there's questions floating around out there by other people if how severe Naylor's injury is, and they already were talking about, them signing some of these players, that are unemployed right now, or if there's somebody they're gonna try to trade for, and one of the scuttlebutt out there and a few people talking about it's try to bring Thielen back. But then you said he got hurt on hamstring or something, right?
Yes, on Sunday they said in the game on Sunday he got did something to his hamstring. So that sounds like that's probably going to be off the table because we need somebody immediate, somebody we need to wait.
Right. Now that what's his name got hurt, hopefully it's just a ding, but I think they're going to. Well, I watch Wes Phillips, news conference, and he said that they were, comfortable with the receiver's depth. But now that you brought this up, I don't know. So does with Phillips, that had to been after Addison and what's his name got hurt, right?
Well, they announced it, as Joe said, they announced it just a little while ago. So it had to, or otherwise it was already in the works during the day, prior to that, because they were already considering bringing somebody in with Addison being out the 2 games, and with, like you said, the other Naylor getting hurt. So they were already considering bringing in, some type of veteran depth at wide receiver. And then we have this on top of it. So they're definitely in need right now. I guess today they had Thayer Thomas, Deshaun Jones, and Lucky Jackson as the 3 primary receivers in training today.
Well, I don't know. we're just peon fans that watch the game. We don't really know what they know, right? So
Right.
we're only guessing. But yeah, it kind of makes us a little nervous, though, as being fans. How is it going to affect the games?
Yeah.
What
I
is
think
that
it's
music in the background?
I don't know.
It's quiet out here in my camper.
Is it on your
the
end,
TV's
Joe?
on in my background. I got my
I-
headset on though, so you shouldn't be able to hear it. There's a TV on in the background in the other room, but I got my headset on, so you shouldn't be able to.
I might be picking up a little bit of it. Either that or Dano's hearing aids picking up the local radio station.
That could be. Close your piano lid. It might be the music still might be stringing up.
It might be the still plate in his head though.
It could be. Played too much piano today.
Well,
Do you still hear it?
right now, but it seemed like once we get to talking, then all of a sudden I'm hearing this music in the background, and it sounds like it's coming from the So
Squirrel.
Well, back
But
to
I
our
think
review,
going back to
I'm
it,
so happy about Lucky Jackson having those drops in that last preseason game.
Yeah.
well, I think that's what it was. Is they were feeling comfortable based on their performance in training camp. They thought they'd have enough depth, but then their injuries started piling up, and then they saw the drops. Lucky Jackson had Price could have caught a game-winning touchdown,
Yep.
got his hands on it, couldn't pull it in. And I
Yep.
mean, he looked awkward going up for the the ball too. So was he a running back in college?
yeah,
So I mean, they obviously transitioned him to wide receiver, and he doesn't look like he's ever run. I mean, I don't even know what it was. It looked like more of a post, but
well,
he just looked
Toward
awkward
the-
trying to make the catch.
toward the end of the quarter there, he was in the backfield. He would run out for the screen or whatever, or he would start out. I can't remember exactly now, but it seemed like he was in the backfield. Then he would go to the line, but I could have sworn a lot of times he ran out from the backfield when he went out for the passes.
Yeah, maybe they were kind of just running plays. Since he does have flexibility as a running back, but I don't think he ran the ball. But again, I guess the more.
Yeah.
Just on the kick returns, which obviously he pulled that one all the way down the field. Yeah.
But I guess going back to it, I think that's why they started looking and pursuing possible trades. And again, I think this is what the trade with Harrison Phillips is about. It's got to be. And I think if the sooner they get somebody in here before the beginning of the season, the better.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, look at all the quarterbacks we went through. That everybody got to play with. Were they all used to them, or were they just not on the same page as they were as far as how they throw? You know what I mean? Are they going to throw early? Are they going to throw it ahead too far, or are they going to throw it right on spot? I mean, because there is a big difference between each quarterback.
Well, yeah, that plays, in my opinion, quite a bit. But when the way the coaches talk, it doesn't matter. The receiver and quarterback always talk about the rhythm of playing together, the knowing what each one's going to do or thinking or whatever, what have you. Jefferson talks about that.
I think it was still good though.
But the thing is, according to the coaches, the quarterback, got to go through the progression and throw the ball regardless who the receiver is and whatever. And, it's all in the sign of the play and what the defense is allowing or giving you and whatever.
The quarterbacks themselves have.
Yeah, I think it just threw them off for a loop going from one quarterback to the next.
It might have, but then sometimes too, I wonder if the receiver, whoever it may be, in the huddle, it was talking about one or two, and the guy is number 3, and get up to the line pre-snap. No, that's sticking to it and running, doing it. Thinking, bringing out whoever's defending, and then of course they got to watch it and see if the quarterback throwing the ball. But by the time they get and whatever and look, and it's like, holy crap, there's the ball, and I don't know.
protections break down, and obviously you're playing with the, second, third stringers out there, so the quarterback doesn't get the time,
Right.
to all the progression. Sometimes you just got to get rid of that ball.
But yeah, I mean,
And that's part of being a rookie is learning. Hey, we always have to be cognizant of what's going on with our quarterback as much as they can, anyways. If you looking back, and trying to get the routes in too. So
Yeah.
Well, I think this kind of plays into kind of what we were going to talk about a bit is, the second string quarterback. And I guess we're talking about, is the quarterback play affecting the receivers? But at the same time, I mean, you're running the same route regardless of who the quarterback is.
correct.
So, and I mean, this is your livelihood. I mean, at this point, it should just be, you shouldn't have to think about it. Yeah, second nature. Okay. And most of the time, these quarterbacks are throwing the ball before the guy even makes a break. That's what they should be doing. They're throwing to a spot, not throwing to the receiver, because that's where the receiver should be based on the timing of the play. And that's just the issue is that depending on man, depending on zone, there's option routes the receiver can run. Sometimes based on the way the defender's playing, if they're going to play deep, then you're going to come back and maybe, do a curl or have a sit route. But I mean, there's quite a few different variables, and depending on what the route would actually be, but that just goes to show that these receivers aren't where they need to be based on the misfires, based on the catches that they should have made, especially with Brosmer in the game towards the end.
Yes.
There were a couple of them where if it was Justin Jefferson, the ball's caught. But with these guys,
Tom and I talked about that when we were watching it.
Yeah.
So I think that's just gonna.
As far as it goes for who the second to me, I mean, personally, I believe Brosmer should be our number 2. I'd really like to see him play with the ones where he actually has some protection. I'd like to see him be able to play a game with some actual protection.
Yeah, he didn't have much, especially against the Patriots.
But as far as getting the ball out, getting it, where he needs it, I think he's the best out of the 3 that you're showing right now. I really do.
Well, in fact, O'Connell made the comment after the last game that he was commenting about quarterback play and whatever, and he let it out that the backup is open competition, as he put it, is a competition. And granted, Sam Howell played good the first game, but he's got to be able to come in on a fly and play the system. And I don't think he can do it. I think Brosmer can do it better.
Automatic for sure. Not with what we've seen so far, anyway. I think Ripon did a better job in the second game than he did in the first one. Yeah. But Brosmer, to me, he seems more stable. Like I said in the beginning, I was excited when they picked him up just because of what reading back on his stats and stuff. I was glad that the Vikings were able to get him.
Yeah, hopefully they don't end up losing him,
Yeah, if they stick him on the practice squad, he's gone.
Yeah, he's not going to camp.
Well, in fact, during Wes Phillips' conference, the question was brought up to him about, for a backup quarterback, does he think that need a journeyman, which Howe is considered? Right. And he says no, his opinion of a backup quarterback who may not get any reps during the week preparing for the game that's coming up, but able to do the mental reps and be able to come out, like for an example, he used as, what's his name, the one that was the backup last year, quarterback.
Nick Mullins?
Yeah. Like he did when Sam had to go out for that one play because of whatever happened, and Mullins came in and they had to get 17 yards, 12 yards or something for a first down. It was third and something, and he came in. Anyways, that's what Wes Phillips said about the backup. So my thinking is, between what O'Connell said during a presser and then what Wes Phillips said today, my inclination is that they're going to go with Mack as the backup keep ripping because he knows the system, and they're going to cut Sam Howell.
Yeah, I think so. Wouldn't surprise me. Maybe they won't.
That's my 2 cents worth, but due to inflation, I think it's probably worth a dime anyways.
Inflation? What inflation? We just upped their salaries. You're making millions.
Going back to the Nick Mullins thing, though, like seemed like every pass he completed, he just threw it up to Aaron Jones. Because I think every completion was to Aaron Jones. Like when he came in and relieved, like if Darnold got injured a couple of times. But
Yeah.
I mean, I could see too that they keep Sam Howell and Max Brosmer because, like, somebody said it. Like Brosmer's not going to make it past. If they try to sneak him onto the practice squad, he's not. Somebody's going to pick him up.
Yeah.
Just based on how he's performed. And again, it's not like he's not like a superstar out there, but like he's looks more polished than Sam Howell does. Sam Howell looks like he's seeing ghosts and he's trying to escape pressure, but rolls right into pressure. Kind of like Dad and I talked a bit earlier today. It just reminds me of Kirk Cousins' pocket presence. He doesn't seem to have any, which is why he kind of led the league when he was a starter in 2023 for the Commanders. He had 22 interceptions, as a starter, and that just kind of shows it. Like he panics too early and just throws the ball up. Kind of what Nick Mullins did.
Yeah, just like his interception, was there was absolutely no need for it. They've been better off taking the sack.
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
Well, didn't he try to get rid of it as he was going down, and he ended up throwing it? Yeah.
Well, he was.
Well, I mean, why you just got to make it to the line of scrimmage. So why throw it up into the field of play? But I think we're all in agreement. It just depends on how the chips fall and who. Either way, I think Max Brosmer's hitting or making the team, and goes to show you whether or not. I guess we'll have to wait and see whether or not he's second on the depth chart. But again, they don't have to make that determination ever within the season. So we might not even know until it comes to it where, keep our fingers crossed, if JJ McCarthy gets hurt or misses a game or two, well, that's when we're going to find out.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm really wanting to see him with a good, with the ones. See how he plays with the ones, protection that he can get from the ones compared to what he's gotten in these preseason games with the second and third string.
Well, I don't think they're going to play the ones Friday night because of the way the other players are getting hurt. O'Connell's not going to risk the starters.
Oh no, I'm just talking in like an actual game if JJ ever goes down.
Yeah.
Just getting to see that.
I wouldn't mind him putting JJ out just to see what he's got going. See how he does after a little time off.
Yeah, I understand with him getting hurt, but I still think he could use a little more time, in the actual games too. But
yeah,
they're seeing what they see in practice, which we don't.
Right. But what I would like to see is Max getting out there the first quarter of Friday night's game with the number 2s because he'd been playing with the number 3 lineman, not the guy's number 2.
Yeah, and that right tackle they had when he was in there was terrible. Like they had times where the running back was helping the chip because the right tackle couldn't block that defensive end. So that was where most of the pressure seemed to come from, was that left side of the defense, right side of the offensive line.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think we might see Max Brosmer and Brett Rippon play the whole game since it's the last preseason game.
Right.
It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. They might just sit Sam Howell and kind of see who, what happens in the game.
I mean,
Well, I think
Because third
lot-
preseason,
I think that's
little
what
more
a lot of
serious.
people are thinking or hoping for anyway.
I mean, that's generally the last preseason game. You see maybe the second team a little bit, third team for, everybody else plays the game to see how they perform, I guess. And that's generally how the last preseason game is, even back when there was 4. But it is kind of strange in that we didn't talk about it, but it is strange how some teams are playing their first team more than others, because both the Texans and the Patriots started out most of their first team defense was on the field to begin the games. And I don't know how many we even had, like, any starters on the field. Again, I haven't been able to watch either of the games because I missed both of them. But
Well, the second one with the Patriots, their coach was originally not going to play his first stringers, but with the practices that they had with the Vikings, he saw they were getting pretty much demolished with those guys. So he made his first stringers play the first series of the game just because he wanted them to get that experience. Obviously, we only had our second and third stringers out there. He wanted them to play again because they hadn't done as well as he was hoping for during the practices against us.
Yeah, well, the way O'Connell talks, originally that's what the Patriot coach told him, that, yeah, just going to play the second stringers and that, Then O'Connell said he was surprised when he saw the starters out there, But either way, it was a good test for the second string defense, with against the starters there, which they did all right. They held them to get the score.
Yeah.
It wasn't until later in the game, when third whoever else on defense went out there, is when they were, I don't know, it's got behind more.
While we're kind of talking quarterbacks, I do have to give kudos to Dobbs on his play in that game.
But did you hear how many times they commented about his passes? Like there was one to one of the receivers and he had to reach for it. That's how Jefferson got hurt. Remember, he ended up going to the emergency room afterwards.
Yeah, they talked about that. Yeah. They talked about that, but I mean, for a lot of his other play, he was pretty good.
Well, he wasn't bad at all.
I didn't know he could run a set play. I thought he just had to play schoolyard ball.
I was impressed. I was impressed with his play, as to what we had, from him.
Yeah, and I'm not seeing either of the games, which I wish I just saw the highlights. And again, you don't see all of everything that goes on. It just seems more frustrating that we're comfortable or they're satisfied with just playing vanilla ball, like 4 field goals. You don't have a little more urgency to try and put the players in a different situation where they might have to go on 4th down or try to score a touchdown other than at the end of the game. I just wasn't, I don't know.
Especially
wasn't really happy with that.
Miles Price put us in on that one return. I was very disappointed that we had to walk away at the field goal on that one.
And that just goes into play calling, goes into preparation, goes into game flow, and just
gonna give you a heads up. The second half, Wes Phillips was calling the plays.
Yes, yep, and that's what they said because they were interviewing O'Connell during that whole third quarter.
He was on the mic during the third quarter with PA and them guys. And the comment I heard was, Pat O'Connell said that Wes probably wishing that he was in there making the calls.
Well, some of it, but like you say, what can you do when your protections break down as badly as it was during a lot of that? So, it's just the nature of the beast. But while we're on the offensive side still, I'm also impressed with that Xavier Scott at running back. He's pretty good. He's pretty good at catching the ball. He's pretty good at, his cuts and his moves and his pushing forward, making the first couple guys miss. I really think that he's definitely a keeper. I think he's better than Chandler from what I've seen right now.
Yeah, Chandler, he was pretty rough on the last game I watched.
Yeah, I think he's bigger, stronger, and faster than Chandler.
Yeah.
I heard somebody was what's his name? Andy from Purple for the Win. Wasn't he like joking that he runs like a rugby player? But I don't know what that really means.
Did they waddle? I don't know. Can we get a display on the screen? I'm not sure what we're talking about here.
I don't know either. I was just watching a video, and that's, again, like half the time when I'm working, I just have a YouTube playing in the background, like, as I'm working, and I kind of hear something every once in a while, and that's what he said. I'm like, what? He runs like a rugby player.
The only play that he made in that one preseason game where I was very disappointed is when the snap went bad, and instead of just jumping on the ball, he tried to pick it up and run with it and lost the ball at that point. But otherwise, I was very impressed with what he was able to do, especially like I said with our line breaking down the way it was. They weren't creating holes and stuff at points for him. That first preseason game, he was awesome. Other than that snap fumble.
Yeah, no, it wasn't bad.
And hopefully we'll get to see him more. I want to see him get more carries.
Yeah, I do too. I'm hoping they'll start him out with it.
They didn't give him much opportunity to run.
Well, they started with Chandler, and they did there in the first two preseason games. They started with Chandler first, and then they brought Scott in afterwards. So I'm hoping that in this next game we'll get to see a little more of them. Maybe they'll get to start early.
Yeah, I think they'd be better off doing that. I think they've seen enough of Chandler. If Chandler is still on the team or whatever, it's going to be primarily for a special team.
Yeah, I don't see him making the team at all, Chandler.
Yeah.
Especially with Jordan Mason being the backup. They tried Chandler as a backup. It didn't work.
Well,
He
the
just
thing remind you of what?
Who was the starting running back in 2023?
Alexander Madison.
Yeah, Madison, yeah. And then also, who was the running back when Teddy for that? Basically, all he could do was run for 2-yard touchdowns. He couldn't run for 5 yards if his life depended on it.
God, I can't remember. Javers.
He was that Samoan guy. I'm trying to look it up, but I can never find anything on Vikings.com. It hardly ever works. Matt Asiata.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
He had 10 touchdowns, but only 500 yards rushing.
Well, that's about all you could do is get about 2-3 yards, and yeah. Anyways.
But again, Jerick McKinnon was the other running back then, and he only had 500 some yards too. So maybe it's more indicative of the offensive line at that time.
Could have been. Yeah.
Which wasn't the best.
Speaking of offensive line, Garrett Bradbury is the Patriot centers.
Yeah, I was shocked to hear that or see that. It's like, what? Because I wasn't paying attention, and maybe some other soul mentioned that the Patriot picked him up. I didn't hear it, but yeah, it's like, really? Okay.
Which he stood his own, but if the Vikings starting defense was there, hopefully they would crush him.
He would have been picked up like the forklift, and forklift it back.
Yeah, he never had a base. It was just kind of disgusting. Again, though, it could have been just the zone running scheme that we have where, when he was drafted, they called him the Grim Reacher because he was good at pulling and stuff like that and in space, and they only used him in space like on screen passes. It didn't seem like they ever pulled him or had him moving. So again, you kind of look at it and you kind of look at their performance, but then you wonder, how did that fit with the scheme that the team had?
Well, I think part of it too was that the line itself, looking back, who did the Vikings really have in the last few years at left guard or what have you, or right guard, in order to feel comfortable for them to pull out and swing out, that's part of it too, but yeah, at first, to me, I know he didn't play all that great, but when he first came out, it didn't seem like it was all that bad because some of the plays did see, that's the way the line moved or whatever. I don't know.
You're kind of handicapped when you have Ezra Cleveland and Ed Ingram as your guards.
Yeah.
I never understood converting a tackle to a guard. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, I think a lot of them look at the tackles are bigger and longer, and they want to try to get the longer arm guys in there. That's some teams. Other ones, okay, you're a guard, you're built like a guard, so yeah.
But speaking of guards, Donovan Jackson's been doing pretty good from what I hear.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah,
And then
we haven't got a whole lot of play from him yet, but from like you say, everything you hear coming out of training camp and stuff.
And then again, why they kind of decided to get rid of Harrison Phillips. They have Jalen Redmond, Tyrion Ingram Dawkins, and then Elijah Williams. They've been performing pretty well too, so they're comfortable with getting rid of Harrison Phillips. So they've been doing well this preseason.
Well, yeah, that's what's been brought up by the popular guys like Purple Bailey and Purple Insider, they were talking about the 53-man roster. Like, what's his name? Elijah, the one.
Yeah, the undrafted free agent tackle. Yeah.
Okay, do they want to take a chance of losing that player? The way he been showing up to the practice squad. So trying to figure out how you could make room for some of these rookies that are really shining during practice and the preseason games. If they're doing good, how you fit them into the roster. The casualty of that, they're not going to cut Hargrave and what's his name, the other defensive lineman that they just signed this offseason. They're not going to cut them guys.
Well, yeah, and then it's just a mix of like how many defensive ends, how many defensive tackles you keep. And again, it just plays into that. But then again, we kind of talked about already. I mean, who knows if they make this move if the receivers aren't, if there wasn't questions surrounding the receiver core or the depth chart. I mean, are there any other standouts you've seen so far during the preseason?
I'm poor at names. I can't remember their names. Well, I know that one linebacker, free agent, they're really speak highly of. And then, of course, the one they drafted really been showing. And, of course, that cornerback, what's his name? The one was hoping to pick off a couple balls there. Vaughn? Is it Vaughn?
Samaya Vaughn.
Yeah.
You're
What
great
is
with
the other
faces,
one?
Terrible with names, right?
What is the other one that was in their plan? I don't think it was Vaughn. There was another cornerback, that free agent, rookie, undrafted, that seemed to shine there. I can't think of which one it is. Like I said, I'm bad at names.
But great with faces.
I was gonna say, do we have our list of guys that we made? Maybe he's on there.
Well, the way the lighting is for me right now, and for me to try to read it, yeah, good luck.
He's getting
Well,
older
it
by
wasn't
the-
Mekhi Blackman.
No, it wasn't him. In fact, he's not showing up like he did before he got hurt last year.
No, he didn't. I wasn't real impressed with his play.
Yeah, the only other players on the roster for corners are Ambry Thomas, Reddy Stewart, and the other ones are, I guess there's a Keenan Garber, but the other ones on the roster, projected starters, are going to be in, first or second team. So I'm not sure who you had in mind. There was a safety, though, that had a couple of picks. I think the Texans game, maybe that's who you're thinking of.
What's his name? Yeah, that's
Khalif
the
Galati.
one. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
in the last game there. In fact, he was really there. Somebody made the comment that they were kind of hoping that he was able to get his hand on the ball or something. It was, I don't know, underthrown. Oh, it was overthrown, and he almost had it.
Yeah, he almost had it. That was the closest you're going to get.
Yeah, because in fact he was trying to dive for it, and it just slipped. He didn't get his hands there. They probably would have called it incomplete anyways, because going to the ground trying to catch it. And what do you think about their new way of doing the instead of bringing out the chain gang to determine if it's a first down or not, spotting the ball.
What they call that? The virtual something?
Yeah.
Virtual measure.
They got 3 cameras on that. All their, and then they'll show on the screen on the television or whatever platform you're watching the exact amount of inches, if it's short or or they made it by 6 inches or whatever.
That one wasn't even one that we needed to use it on. It was all good distance. Yard from it.
That was a poor example. Just tell me you needed another way to cheat without showing me you needed another way to cheat. Sorry, my opinion.
Well, I'll just say that, it seemed like they were using other forms in recent years anyways, because how many times can you count in a game where you see the chain gang come on the field?
Yeah,
to
not
measure.
very much. Yeah.
So, and back in the day, back in the 90s, you saw it like 10 times a game, it seemed like.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it'd take a long time.
But earlier you mentioned the outside linebacker, Gabriel Murphy, possibly is, performing well in the preseason. So that's another player
Yeah.
that'll probably make the roster. And then Bo Richter has been called out, even though from the highlights I've seen, I haven't seen him do well, but he's got half a sack in the first game. And again, sometimes when they play less, it seems like they have a higher chance of making the roster because of coaches, don't need to see as much.
Yeah, that's a good point. They didn't play. They didn't show me. They messed up a lot.
No.
Hopefully the coaches don't see this. They're going to be having second thoughts here, Joe.
Well, so we talked a bit about the wide receiver injuries, and then there's a couple of veteran injuries that are kind of puzzling. And I don't know if we talked too much about it, but are you concerned about Andrew Van Ginkel and Harrison Smith not being on the field at all in the past week or so?
I'm not.
No, I think they'll come. I think they'll come back. They're not. I mean, they're there to play a game, but I don't think they're going to play around with their injuries.
Yeah, I don't think, especially with Harrison Smith. I mean, he's so seasoned and knows the offense, so well. Knows the defense so well. Actually, the offense and defense. He's very in tune to everything. I don't think they're as worried with not having him go out. Just he always gets those veteran rest days and stuff. Even just a normal season. But Van Ginkel, I'm not sure. I don't know. I guess I don't know the extent of what happened.
Well, he been spotted on the sideline,
Yeah.
with his jersey on and his whatever. And he's another player that knows the in and outs and whatever, and
Yeah, unless Flo's just being extra cautious.
between Van Ginkel, Harrison Smith, and Jonathan Grenard, all of them played over 1,000 snaps last season, and that's really rough on, especially like Harrison Smith and being about the oldest one on the team. Then you got Van Ginkel. I don't have any concerns. I know a lot of people are making maybe can't say a lot, but what I've heard from others out there, they're concerned. Why is Harrison Smith gone so long? If there's something, some type of injury, or what kind of illness does he have, or whatever, it might be something that wants to stay clear from the facility and, don't want to take a chance of somebody else coming down with it, so like I told Joe earlier, who knows? Maybe it's COVID,
And I said it was mono. He's been kissing too many people and sharing too many beverages.
But anyways, I'm not concerned. Although if his illness isn't so severe, at least you would think he'd be there at least for the back few meetings and whatever to stay up with everything. I don't know. But
Yeah, and he's always been big on, helping with developing.
Unless he's watching from home, got the tablets and then the backfield coach and Flo probably communicating with them. Who knows? All that stuff we won't know.
Yeah. I'm really, like I said, he's the one player that I'm really hoping the Vikings bring back as a staff member somewhere.
After he retires?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if he can be a player coach anymore. Like
What?
back in the day with Hallis and why? I think it's a NFLPA thing. The player association. I don't think you can play and coach.
Oh, not playing coach, but coach after retirement.
Well, I know I was just half.
Oh,
joking.
yeah. Okay. Got you now. I'm back.
But no,
in
the only
center
concern
field.
I have is they don't have to submit an injury report until the first, prior to the first week of the season.
I think it's
And with,
September, 4th of September they have to.
Yeah.
and with them not practicing, I'm just worried that there may be, and again, who knows? But I think there might be some injuries that we're not going to find out until then. And maybe somebody starts out the season on the PUP list. Who knows? Which I don't want to see. It'd be just our luck.
We have a rather long pup list with the way things are going right now.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, number one, hopefully, and as the looks of today, Jefferson won't be. He'll be ready to suit up and play. But here's another theory I got about Harrison Smith and Van Ginkel. They're waiting till nobody's there, Jane. Reporters being there at the practice facility.
Oh, really?
So
I didn't know that.
they were waiting till after starting tomorrow and whatever put in to their game plan. The secret weapon was Harrison Smith and Van Ginkel. How much you want to bet that they'll switch places?
You're screaming.
I only heard half of what you said, but I think it's fan fiction, whatever it is.
What half did you not catch?
All of it.
All the things about the stuff and things.
Might be.
So you did not get the part I said that Harrison Smith and Van Ginkel, there's a secret
the
plan
part.
that they're going to switch places?
And,
Like Freaky Friday type, or they're gonna switch bodies, or
It doesn't matter.
do you, does anyone pay attention to the Gophers football team at all?
I've been hearing some talk.
Have you heard of player Coy Parrish? He's a safety from
Cornerback?
Minnesota. Safety from Minnesota. He went to high school in Minnesota from ESCO. He started as a freshman after a few games last year. I mean, he's kick return, punt return, safety, and he's going to be on offense a bit this year. But he said in an interview that asked him hey, did you watch is this a dream for you being on the college football team in Minnesota? He's like, no, if I would be able to, I just would have skipped college altogether and just joined the Vikings. So he's like, but you have to play 2 to 3 years. That's what I'll do. So hopefully he's a replacement for Harrison Smith because he's looks to be quite the player.
That's what I heard.
He's on the Chuck Bednarik Award, Walter Camp Award, Bronco Nagurski Trophy, Jim Thorpe Award, all these watch lists for all these top players, in college football. He's on the watch list for pretty much all of them. So we'll see how it goes in his sophomore season, but looks pretty promising.
Well,
hopefully we'll
get injured.
Well, hopefully we'll be drafting so low because we're winning Super Bowls and stuff that he'll be out of the reach unless you trade.
Yeah, but no, I think Ron Johnson, former wide receiver, and he's on Lock On Sports, Minnesota Sports. In fact, I believe I heard him talking about that kid. So yeah.
Yeah, no, go online on YouTube, watch a couple of videos. He's kind of exciting to watch. So hopefully the Gophers do well this year too.
I've never really looked in or seen any videos on them.
So isn't there a
not...
Gopher game coming up here shortly? Playing who the heck gets the openers? I thought it was what college is there a college team in Buffalo or whatever?
Yeah, that's on next Saturday. Not this coming Saturday, but next Saturday they're playing Buffalo. Yeah, for the first game of the season.
Yeah, I've been.
Have you seen how many teams are? That. Have you seen how many teams are in the Big Ten now? Though
no,
there's 20. I mean, half, all the teams from the back when they had the Pac-12.
Yeah,
California, UCLA, USC, all those West Coast teams are now in the Big Ten now. So it's
wow.
crazy. Yeah. So, but sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent there, but just somebody to think about in the future when we talk about draft picks and stuff.
Yeah.
You never know.
So I guess the one last thing I kind of wanted to talk about just for funsies was Mr. Mankato. They've talked, they every year back when they used to have training camp in Mankato, they used to vote for who would win it or who would win training camp. Pretty much is the best player in training camp. And most of the time it's just an unsung hero or somebody you would least expect. I'll just name off a couple of players that won it. In 2014, Adam Thielen won it. Mr. Mankato. In 2015, it was Stephon Diggs. In 2021, it was KJ Osborne. In 2022, it was Brian Asamoah. 2023 was Ivan Pace Jr. In 2024 is Jalen Naylor. So who would be your vote for Mr. Mankato so far?
Boy, it's hard to say.
I think that's safety that I'm trying to remember his name.
One that with the 2 interceptions?
Yeah.
Khalif Helassie. I'm butchering the name, but
I couldn't do
something
any
like
better,
that.
Joe.
Either be him or that defensive lineman, the one that we were talking about. That young feller with Isaiah or whatever his name is.
Elijah Williams.
Yeah.
It's a
Toss
biblical
up
name.
between
It's
the
close.
two of them. Can I vote for both?
Nope.
Already picked Elijah Williams, so I guess you got to pick the other one. Sorry.
Okay, I'll take the safety.
I'm going out on a limb, and I'm going to say Max Brosmer.
That's what I was going to say
Yeah.
myself.
I was going to say it, but you said someone that you don't really think is going to make it.
No. I didn't say it that way, did I? I said an unsung
Yeah.
hero or somebody that's not, the major draft pick or whatever.
Well,
Here's
here's the deal. Max was one of the top on the signing of the undrafted free agency. So, and the way everybody's talking about him and that, yeah, okay. Then I changed my vote to Matt.
Well, you can't. That's who I voted for. You can't do that. Everybody's jumping on the bandwagon.
All right.
Somebody else.
I'll stick with the safety, okay? You got it?
You can take him. Enough, John and Tommy are taking Mac. I'm going to go with Xavier Scott. Well, he has to perform well in the last preseason game, though.
Yeah.
All right, so I get this clear. I picked the safety. Who did you pick, Joe? Max?
No, I changed. I
picked
called an
Xavier.
audible and went with Xavier Scott. No, it's because you picked somebody that somebody else picked.
Dano, who's the safety that I picked?
No,
Remember?
you can't pick my safety.
Well, you called an audible. I was going to change it now. I just don't remember his name.
Omaha. All right, so we're going with Max Brosmer, Khalef Helassie, and Xavier Scott. One of those three. And if whoever wins gets a high five and a slap on the butt.
A slap on the, yeah.
But you have to yell good play. Otherwise, it's weird.
Well, yeah, just as long as it's not one of our cheerleaders.
Yeah, right. More than you bargained for.
I'm biting my tongue. Because then we're going to start getting political. And we can't do that. This is a family show.
Oh, no, we're not going to get political.
Because then I won't
I just
stop.
wonder when one of the females is going to suit up and get into the fair play.
Yeah, absolutely.
I tell you what, there's a few that I've met and wouldn't want to ever meet in a dark alley myself, so I could see him getting up in a suit.
UFC
Hey,
fighters
who are you
and some
talking
boxers.
about?
Yeah. What's that?
I'll be right back, guys.
Who were you talking about?
I said we get some females to suit up into a suit. I said there's a few, that I've seen it come across my lifetime that I would be afraid to meet in a dark alley. That did make some pretty good football players.
Well, I tell you what, I don't want to meet any gals or women in the dark alley.
There's nothing.
Bring back flashbacks. It'll be like a flashback when I was walking down the street of Longapo in Longapo City, PI, the Philippines. Walk along my own business, and all of a sudden,
You got oddly specific about the exact location, except for the street address. I didn't say there was.
He's obviously still having nightmares about it.
It still haunts you to this day, it sounds like. Well, it
you're
wasn't.
laughing and whatever, females hollering, and next thing I know, my butt cheeks are being grabbed. Boy, that was uncomfortable. What was worse, don't tell anybody. They were saying cherry on top.
And they didn't say good game? The gall of those people.
I've worked with a few in the jail that I wouldn't tangle with. But
Well, I don't know if we can sign off without Tommy being here.
he's here.
Right here.
Who's that cardinal in my tree? It's me. It's me.
It's here just in time for Dano's intro.
Hello.
Anything else that we missed that somebody wants to bring up or talk about aside from the Philippines or dark?
No, I think we're good.
Looking forward to the next
Sober.
preseason game. See how these guys do, and whether we win or lose, it's just going to be good to see the play.
Then be prepared for touchdown day.
I was always most excited to see the last preseason game to see because these guys get the most playing time in the last game. So, and it'll be kind of an indication of who's on the bubble and who's kind of safe. Like you said, like if you have less playing time in the last game, then you're almost safe in a way to make the team, or at least a practice squad maybe. And then we might have to go week to week from now on, depending on how things go and how much news comes out.
Well,
You
I'm
know,
sure
for
there.
sure.
If life brings something up where we can't make it a week or whatever, we'll plan on doing it week to week. But
Yeah.
like I said, we all have lives, busy lives too that come first. We certainly want to do this as much as possible. But yes, we'll shoot for the week to week, every week show.
Yeah, well, I'm up for whatever works for you guys. I'm not gonna
So
say
who
I'm
wants to tie?
easy. I'm not gonna say I'm easy, but well, whatever you guys.
Take it easy, and if it's easy, take it again.
Dum 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 dum.
So who wants to tie a bow on it?
I
The
thought
outro.
Dana was. We had the exiting song going on.
Well, I'm working on a theme song, or not song, or music for our intro that can play at any amount of time without being, worrying about playing longer than whatever. Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight. Like we said in the intro, we'd like you to become part of our blended family that we have here. If you, like we said before, if you like the show, hit that like button. If you don't like the show, you can give us thumbs down. Subscribe to us on YouTube, and if you want get the inkling to want to join us in a cast, go ahead and hit that email link below and let us know, and we'll get you placed in. Thank you, and we'll see you at our next show.
And until next time,
Yes,
Good
see you
night,
guys later.
all.
Skol.
Skol Viking.
let's win the game.
Yeah.